You know, the culture.
Take me out. It's my turn. It is. You told me it was my
Better hit it. I want it with dollar.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous.
Dong Tiger. Ni hao. Ni hao. Ni hao.
Oh, I haven't been this disappointed in Shrek 2. That is such a shame.
Oh, here we go. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to the show. Lots of stories here today. Lots of criminal stuff happening in the world of sports. What's going on with that? What is going on with that? Lots of preseason news going on. Preseason have just started for the NFL. I watched a little bit of some preseason games. Bears. Watched the Bears beat Chiefs in the preseason game. Very exciting about that. But it's only preseason, so we're going to only see how my Bears are going to do from there. But this is the ZK Sports Show. Welcome back, everyone. If you're new here, please make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. But first, let's get into our first sports story today. Is Zach Wilson looked like he was injured, but it's not really injured. But he's still going to miss 2 to 4 weeks. So Jets quarterback Zach Wilson's first preseason game start for the New York Jets ended with him limping off the field, but they have avoided the worst case injury scenario. So if you're watching it live, it looked like it was an ACL damage, but as it says here, on Saturday morning, MRI showed no ACL damage, but he did have a bone bruise and possible meniscus tear. More tests are reportedly being done to determine the full scope of Wilson's injury. As you can see here, this is a tweet that Brian Costello, who reported it on the story, he said, Jets QB Zach Wilson has a bone bruise and meniscus tear, per sources. He will miss 2 to 4 weeks. He will get a second opinion. That is the belief right now. Head coach Robert Salon told the media on Friday night that the medical staff believed Wilson's ACL was still intact, but gaining actual proof of it, that is a huge relief for every Jets player and fan. ESPN Rich Kimmy reported that Wilson will need arthroscopic surgery, but there is no optimism that he could be ready for Jets Week 1 start against the Baltimore Ravens. Wilson went down on a scramble, landed awkwardly on the grass during a pretty rough preseason start against the Philadelphia Eagles on Friday night. The knee he injured was the same one injured in 2021, which cost him 4 games. So it goes on, this looks like it's going to go on to say who the replacement is. Well, I'm just covering the injury. We're not sure if he's going to be back on for week 1. It looks like he may not, but it looks like it's saying Flacco will replace it. So it says here, Flacco will replace Wilson for the time being. Backups Mike White and Chris Fryer are also options. So Joe Flacco is going to replace Zach Wilson for the time being, which is, yeah, it's whatever for Jets fans, you know. Thankfully, he didn't have an ACL tear, but that is still very way to injure yourself, and it's dangerous to injure yourself in the first game of the preseason, because that could tell if you're going to be available to play in the next game. So that is all for that story. Alright, so our next story up is San Diego Padres star Fernando Tatis Jr. suspended 80 games after testing positive for PED, performance-enhancing drug. This is a serious story, and I mentioned at the beginning what's going on with all these just crazy criminal-like stories going on. I'm not saying steroids, well, using steroids is illegal, but that is pretty. San Diego Padres shortstop Fernando Tatis Jr. has been suspended 80 games after testing positive for colostable, a performance-enhancing substance violation of Major League Baseball's Joint Drug Prevention and Treatment Program. Tatis' suspension, announced by MLB on Friday, is effective immediately, meaning the All-Star shortstop cannot play in the majors this year. In a statement, Tatis said he is not appealing the ban, as it was his mistake that led to the positive test. Here's his response. It turns out that I inadvertently took a medication to treat ringworm that contained cholesterol, Tatis said. I should have used resources available to me in order to ensure that no banned substances in what I took, I failed to do so. I want to apologize to the team owner, Pete Selgers, AJ Preller, the entire Padres organization, my teammates, Major League Baseball, and fans everywhere for my mistake. I have no excuse for my error. I would never do anything to cheat or disrespect the game I love. I've taken countless drug tests throughout my professional career, including on March 29, 2022, all of which have returned negative tests until this test. So, he took this to treat a ringworm infection. Ringworm, I think, is a parasite. I've never had ringworm, so I can't tell what it's like. But, I mean, at least he's admitting his wrong, you know. I really do respect that on you. Because some athletes still defend it, saying, oh, well, other players do it. Oh, other players take roids. Other players are juiced up. But he's admitting his mistake. I really do like how he's admitting he's wrong and the saying, like, he's apologizing, you know. I love how he's being responsible for this. But the other thing I noticed is that, you know, why didn't you read the, I guess, drug facts on the thing? I'm not sure what's in it. Like, if it said contains colostable, you know, then that could have been a red flag. Or he didn't know colostable was a banned substance. I did not know what colostable was until I saw this thing, but it's supposedly a PED, I guess, like it's a performance-enhancing drug, don't get me wrong. I'm not sure what colostable does, but it's an illegal substance. I guess I'm not going to say what it does. But anyway, Tatis will be on a restricted list for the final 48 games of the Padres regular season. Any postseason games that play this season will count toward Tatis' 80-game total. The remainder of the suspension will be served at the beginning of the 2023 season. So here is his more talk. I am completely devastated, Tatis said in the statement. There is nowhere else in the world I would rather be than on the field competing with my teammates. After initially appealing the suspension, I realized that my mistake was the cause of the result. For that, I have decided to start serving my suspension immediately. I look forward to joining my teammates on the field in 2023. So, yeah. It goes on to say, Tatis was on a minor league rehabilitation assignment at the time of the suspension after missing the first 4 months of the season because of a broken left wrist. The result of a motorcycle crash in December. Tatis didn't have surgery on the wrist until mid-March. So, Padres General Manager Perel called the suspension very disappointing and said the team was hoping to see more maturity out of the young star. So, Perel added, I think we need to get to is a point that, in time, we trust him. Over the course of the last 6 or 7 months, that's been something that we haven't been really able to have there. I think from the standpoint, obviously, he's a great talent. He's a guy we have a lot of history with and do believe in, but these things only work when there's trust both ways. Padres star Manny Machado said of suspension after a 10-5 win over the Washington Nationals. He said, shocked, everybody is. But they still have Juan Soto, I think. Yeah, they have Juan Soto. Machado. I think they can still sort of make a run for the playoffs, but they are going to be without Tatis Jr. in the long run. So our final story up for today, and going back to what I said at the beginning, these kind of insane scandals that are happening and criminal stuff that's happening. This is what I meant. This is going to be a little bit intense, so if you're not comfortable with this stuff, you know, you can unclick from the video and stuff. So, former NFL star Frank Gore charged with assault for allegedly dragging naked women by hair in hotel. This is just insane how this happened. This happened the same week the Marshawn Lynch DUI happened. I was originally going to cover the Marshawn Lynch day, but I think this is more extreme than like a DUI. Both are bad, but I think this is just, ooh. New details have emerged about civil assault charges filed against former NFL player Frank Gore after an incident last month. Following an alleged domestic violence incident reported on July 1st in New Jersey, TMZ has obtained court documents that explain what allegedly took place. On Wednesday, TMZ reported that according to the documents, The incident involved Gore, 39, allegedly dragging a naked woman by her hair across a hotel's room hallway. I have no words for this. This is insane. I mean, you expect, like, someone, like a crazy person to do this, but Frank Gore to do this? This is just insane to me. This is like the Ray Rice scandal, essentially. So here's what it says. On July 31st, shortly after 8 p.m., police were dispatched to Tropic Atlantic City after a report of domestic violence was viewed, according to a release from the Atlanta City Police. So it says, this is what it says. Violently dragged her nude person along the floor on the 59th hallway after forcibly grabbing the woman by her hair. Then it continues what I previously just said. When the officers arrived, they found a 28-year-old alleged victim. Speaking to hotel security, according to the release, she did not exhibit signs of injury and complaints were not filed at the time. However, an ensuing investigation resulted in Franklin Gore being charged with simple assault related to domestic violence incident, the release explained. The Atlantic City Police did not respond to the people's request for the comment. Gore was issued a summons pending a future court date. So it goes on to talk about his Gore, but as I go back to 4, you don't expect Frank Gore, someone like this, to do this. Like, this is just crazy. I've said this so many times, but you can understand how impactful the story is. I mean, what's also going to be crazy is this guy has a son. His name is Frank Gore Jr., and he goes to college. It's also going to affect him is all his classmates are going to talk about this. They're going to talk about his father doing this stuff. And that's going to probably have a bad image on him. Because, you know, whenever someone's son speaks out about this, whatever, they have a son, they like to mention that around them. Like, how do you feel about this? He's going to probably get annoyed from it. You know, Frank Gore Jr. is probably get annoyed by it. But, as I stated before, again, this is just insane. This is insane. It's shocking that Gore has done something like this. You know? I feel like, well, here's the thing. This is reported by TMZ, okay? This is reported by TMZ. So maybe there's some flaws in it, but allegedly dragging a naked woman by the hair. This is allegedly. It's not 100% confirmed. This is allegedly. The Watson stuff, in my opinion, are confirmed. This is allegedly. So unless all the facts come out on this statement, I'm going to try and not make an opinion. I kind of am now, but I'm going to wait until the court stuff happens. So that's going to be all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all so much. I recently hit 11 views on my last video. Thank you guys so much for checking me out. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
To stay off the weed.